The Law Report with Karen Key.
And a very good evening to you from tonight's Law Report programme. We're with you as usual on a Monday evening between 9 and 10 p.m. Well, in the Law Report this evening, as promised, it's over to you. There's no fixed topic, and we're running another of the periodic legal clinics that we do every now and again. So between now and 10 o'clock, we're going to be discussing a wide range of points that are of concern to you. We'll try, as always, to give you what information we can about the law and the way it's practiced and the way it operates. My guests this evening are attorneys Erica Emden and Keisha Kandasamy of probono.org. Erica is Advancement Director and Development Law Specialist and Director of the Johannesburg office of probono.org, and Keisha is Head of General Law at probono.org. Good evening, Erica and Keisha. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Morning.
Well, if you have any questions or comments for us, you can call us now on 0892 10 20 10, 0892 10 20 10. And I have to remind you that, as usual, we'll try to keep it fairly general so that the program isn't monopolized by the concerns of one particular listener to the exclusion of everyone else. So please do try to be concise in telling us your story. We'll try to outline the basics and point you towards the first step or perhaps the next step in what you need to do. And you'll understand that that first or next step may well be to go and see an attorney because the complexity and importance and urgency of the matter demands it, and because it isn't something that we can adequately deal with here. You'll understand that this isn't a substitute for a consultation with a legal practitioner. So if you do need to see an attorney, don't delay because it could be costly to do so. Now, as I mentioned earlier, both Erica and Keisha are attorneys from probono.org, and this is an NGO that works with the private legal profession to provide pro bono or free legal services to the poor. Their existence is a response to the lack of access to justice for people in South Africa who are unable to pay for their own private legal representation. Now, Section 34 of our Constitution, giving everyone the right to have any dispute resolved by the application of law decided in a fair public hearing before a court or another independent and impartial tribunal or forum, has no meaning whatsoever if a person is unable to afford representation. Now, probono.org has as its goal the creation of sufficient free legal representation for all who need it. Probono.org screens, matches and refers clients to volunteer private lawyers. You tune to SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader. I'm Karen Key, and this is the Law Report. My guests tonight are attorneys Erica Emden and Keisha Kandasamy of probono.org, and we're running a legal clinic here where we take your queries on almost any aspect of the law. So if you have any questions on this topic now or any topic you'd like to bring up, you can ring us on 0892 10 20 10, 0892 10 20 10. Erica, I think let's start with you, probono.org. I've sort of tried to briefly explain what it is that you do, and if you could just tell us a little bit about where you're based and the kind of work that you're involved with.
Yes, thank you. You did a good job there.
Oh, thank you.
We started in 2006, so we're relatively new. And then we only had an office in Johannesburg and only really a presence in Johannesburg. In 2011, we expanded to Durban, where we now have an office. And also we've expanded our reach way beyond Johannesburg into the greater Gauteng areas, like Vereeniging, Vaal, Alberton, Roodepoort, and so on, Orange Farm. And we've also expanded our work to some extent into northwestern Limpopo. And as you said, our mission is to basically recruit private sector attorneys and use them and advocates to help and assist poor and indigent clients, people who can't afford their own legal fees. But not only do we assist people who walk in through our office door or in these different locations, but we set up specific projects outside of in different areas of the law and outside our office in some instances where lawyers can come and help people. So, for example, in our office, we run a refugee legal clinic once a week. We run an HIV/AIDS telephone clinic once a week. We run a consumer protection legal clinic once a week, and we run various other clinics like that. These clinics are where private sector lawyers come and they see clients who specifically come in on those days with those problems. Then we've got some that are not in our office, they're running in other areas. So, for example, we have maintenance help desks at 4 courts outside of Joburg. That's Alberton, Roodepoort, Vanderbijl and Vereeniging. where we try and assist people who've got maintenance problems by matching them to local attorneys in those areas or helping them there and then at the help desks. And we've got similar things happening all the time. We've got a Torkosa help desk, which is situated there to help people in that area. We've got projects in various small towns and rural areas which are aimed at assisting community advice officers, which are sort of paralegal organizations which work with the poorest of the poor on the ground, trying to help them with their legal problems. And we're trying to support those community advice officers through private attorneys in the areas. And so in a way, our reach is kind of pretty much always expanding, and we're constantly trying to look for opportunities to both assist communities and individuals in areas that have a very low level of legal support, or in the cities where we're working, people who just haven't got access to legal support. And we're trying to find opportunities for attorneys and advocates to do pro bono work and give something back. So we're constantly in the middle of these two groups, trying to put them together. And then all the time as well, we just constantly help individual people who walk into our office or send queries over the email to us and cannot afford their own legal fees. So it's a fairly extensive set of different kinds of interventions that we make.
Keisha, Eric has been mentioning where probono.org is situated and where you work. Obviously, there's a lot of the country that isn't covered. What is the possibility of this expanding in the near future?
Well, we are intending to move to other areas in South Africa at a later stage. Obviously, that's in the future. Durban was our first step out of Johannesburg, and we'll obviously be moving in the years to come to Cape Town. What we do try to do is, if people contact us from other areas in South Africa, we do try to refer them to other organizations within their areas, because we do know of other organizations. We have NGO networks throughout South Africa, and we try to refer them to suitable other places where they can possibly get assistance.
I was just wondering about that. If somebody wasn't in Johannesburg or the Gauteng area or in Durban, would they still be able to access your services even though they weren't anywhere close by your office? They just need to call you and you'd be able to refer them somewhere.
Yes. I mean, we do have a very, very limited network of attorneys, for example, in Cape Town and Port Elizabeth, but it obviously isn't as extensive as our Joburg and Durban projects. But we do try and assist as far as possible wherever we can.
Do you do a means test when somebody applies for help?
Yes, we currently use the means test that is prescribed by the Law Society of the Northern Provinces, and that means test is we look at the joint monthly household income of the person applying for assistance, and so that means we're looking at the means test or the financial means of both the person applying as well as that person's spouse, and that amount cannot exceed 7,000 Rand before deductions. And then we also look at the value of any immovable property that they own, which cannot exceed 350,000, not taking into account any outstanding mortgage bonds. And like I say, that's been prescribed to us by the Law Society of the Northern Provinces.
Well, we have our first caller on the line, Sakila in Cape Town. Good evening.
Good evening, Kiran. Thank you guys for taking my call, and good evening again to your guest and the listeners. Kiran, I have a very good, bad situation here, whereby I don't know if you remember the case that I had with Metro Rail. I had an unlawful arrest, and now there's also some problems, against the police and the minister himself and the government. So now there's a promotion. This promotion of access to Information Act that is actually been hidden by those who are being victimized by the government officials, like police, justice department. It could be any department that falls under government, whereby then you learn when you're about to claim that your claim has collapsed. I've been looking up and down. I've been up and down, in and out of the offices in Cape Town, using a list that I got from the Law Society for Constitutional Law and Human Rights. It's hard, to get the lawyers that can help me under contingency fee or pro bono. I don't know if the lady maybe referred me to in the right place, because I even went to Legal Resources Center. Actually, these guys They can't help me, and I've taken my cases also with the commissioners of Human Rights Commission.
Okay,
And,
Sakila, let's just see if they can help you.
All right.
Erica or Keisha?
I just wanted to find out from him, when he says that he's been to all these places and he hasn't been able to get assistance, are they giving him reasons as to why, or has his claim perhaps prescribed?
Sakila, why are they telling you that you said your claim had collapsed? What did they tell you what that meant?
When it had collapsed, ma'am, it means that when you maybe been victimized by police,
okay,
or it could be by any government officials, then you've got like Metro Rail also. Then you've got 3 years to claim.
That's right. And if it's after that, that means that it's prescribed.
Yes.
Okay. So how long ago?
Cases. Sorry, ma'am?
How long ago did this problem start for you?
It started, ma'am, starting back in 2006, 2007, and 2008 and 2009. I've got about 7 unlawful arrests, and I've got about 16 cases around the Western Cape against the police, and 1 case against Metro Rail. And Metro Rail is very much involved in one of my unlawful arrests. But now I've never been given an opportunity by any lawyer. Like today, only one guy who's been a lawyer, who's a lawyer by Weber Wenzel in what's called ICT Tower building here in Cape Town, whereby he said, no, he cannot help me because he's not doing the kind of a job. He's not a constitutional law and a human rights lawyer.
All right, okay.
So now...
All right, hang on a second, Sakila.
Kevin.
All right, well, clearly in respect of those matters that occurred more than 3 years ago, those claims have prescribed. And unfortunately, in terms of proceeding with those matters, unless he can prove that the claim hasn't prescribed, and obviously there's certain things to look at in order to establish that, those claims will have fallen away. In respect of those claims that occurred within a 3-year period, as from today, there could possibly be, but obviously we'd need to look at the facts of that matter. Like I say, we don't have offices in Cape Town, but what I suggest he does in respect of PIA applications, which is trying to access information, those he can try to pursue. There are organizations that can assist him to fill it out, because he just needs to get an application from the relevant organization and fill it out, and that he can try and do in order to get information. But in terms of then pursuing the matter, it would really just depend on the facts of the matter.
So where would he go to get these application forms from, Keisha?
Well, if he goes to Metro Rail, he should be able to ask for a form, a PIA form, Promotion of Access to Information Act form, which will be filled out explaining exactly what it is that he's requiring, what information, and then there should be an information officer at all of these state-owned companies, etc., that he should be able to then liaise with.
Right, Sakila, that's your first move. Thanks very much for getting through to us, and good luck to you on that. It seems to be an ongoing battle. Lulu in Bloemfontein, good evening.
Good evening. Okay, I'll launch into my story as briefly as possible.
You've got a problem with a builder. We all sympathise with you, Lulu.
I beg your pardon?
I said problems with builders.
Yes,
the whole
you,
country is sympathising with you.
Who's not listening tonight.
Okay.
Excuse me. And I thought I'd just, I listen regularly. I'll just take a chance. She lives in Pretoria. She's a single woman, so she hasn't got a big, strong husband to go and threaten anybody, or, well, not threaten, but shake his fist and say, better back up. Okay, her brother and a builder 4 years ago made an arrangement. The blower asked the builder, one of these part-time builders who turn up for a day and stay away literally for months, and the brother has paid the builder a considerable sum in advance. Why, I don't know. And my friend is living alone in this big house, which has to be, which is half done. It's a fairly old house, and they had to do some interior alterations, and the ceiling fell down and things like that. She literally can't really live properly. She can't invite anybody. She's lost both her parents. She's terribly depressed, and she can't really, she's not working at the moment. I think she has a small income. She can't really afford to just walk into a lawyer's office. And anyway, the arrangement is between her brother, who doesn't seem to take much of an interest. He's got his own career and wife and kids and so on, although he's kind to her. And she just lives in this half-finished house, which is driving her insane, and it's also not safe. Any ideas? And if I may know, the pro bono legal people's street address and or telephone number in Joburg, please.
We'll give all that out, Lulu. Erica or Keisha, any help here?
Shall I listen at the radio?
You can do that, Lulu. That'll be great. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And this program is so useful. Thanks. I'm putting down the phone.
Okay, thanks,
Bye.
Lulu. Good night to you. Right, sounds like a tragic situation.
Yeah, it does. Let me try. I didn't hear, did she say she lives in Pretoria?
It's a friend. She's phoning on behalf of a
friend
friend who lives in Pretoria, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing she could do is go through the Law Society of the Northern Provinces, which is based in Pretoria and would assist finding them a pro bono lawyer, because we don't have a huge number of lawyers in Pretoria, but when we have matters that are in Pretoria, we give people the Law Society of the Northern Provinces number, and they phone there. I can give you the number right away, in fact.
Okay, that'll be great.
It's 012
Right.
338
Right.
5800.
Okay, Law Society of the Northern Provinces. Okay.
Because you see that there's a rule, a pro bono rule, which makes it mandatory for all attorneys in the northern in the area that the LSNP operates to do 24 pro bono hours per annum. So what happens is that when people phone, like this person has phoned, and they're in the area of the LSNP, then the LSNP will allocate an attorney to them. And that attorney can then take the matter further, because I think there's a lot of information here that would need to be gained. I mean, one couldn't really give advice on the phone. For example, does she know where the builder is? Is he contactable? Would he have sufficient funds to be able to pay if there's a claim made against him? And obviously that's what she wants to do. She needs to claim to get back the value of the work that hasn't been done, and all of this has got to be done fairly carefully to work out the quantum of all the different types of claims that may have arisen out of this. So she would need to see an attorney here. I don't think that this is a case where one can really help on the phone. Also, the issue of prescription is important. It must have happened within the last 3 years. So I mean, and as you say, there's a brother, so that complicates issue, because the woman who's living in the house isn't the person who entered into the contract.
No, it's the brother they went and paid the builder a whole lot of money up front, which is always a no-no if they ask for something like that. Don't go there.
Yeah, so the claim here is going to have to be done in the name of the brother. So there are issues here that a lawyer would have to sort out. So my advice would be to phone the Law Society of the Northern Provinces and see what comes of it.
Right, well, for those who are listening who wanted that number, it's the Law Society of the Northern Provinces. The number is 012 338 5800, 012 338 5800. And a little bit later in the program, I will be giving out the contact details for probono.org. Well, I'll give it to you now, and I'll give it to you again later. The number in Johannesburg is 011 339 6080, 011 339 6080. The website is www.probono.org.za. Is there anything else that they need to know, Erica? Any other numbers or contact details?
No, but she asked for a street address. So,
right.
I mean, that's first floor, West Wing, Women's Jail, Constitution Hill, Braamfontein, Johannesburg.
Okay, West Wing, Women's Jail, Constitution Hill.
Yes.
Okay, great. We have another call on the line from Johannesburg. Fran, good evening.
Yes, hi. I have a question around the debacle which has happened on the Sexual Offences Act. In the Times today, there's a report in which a spokesperson for the NPA has said that no arrests are to be made in connection with the Act. Are we to assume that the Act has therefore been suspended?
Gosh, I didn't hear that. Erica?
I believe that sections of the Act have been are the subject of a court case.
Right.
Or in fact were the subject of a court case 2 weeks ago in Cape Town. I only heard this today for the first time, and I think this article in the Times refers to it. So I'm not in a position to give much more advice or information out at the moment, but it seems as though there were some sections of the Sexual Offences Act which were, well, I'm not actually even sure if they were unconstitutional.
There are no penalties, apparently, which have been included in the Act.
Yeah, it was to do with that, something of that nature, but I'm afraid it's just happened, and I haven't heard anything yet about it. But if you want to send me an email, I would be very happy to answer this question in a few days' time, because we've got someone who's looking into it. So,
good.
So it's Erica, ERICA, at probono.org.
Right.
.za. And I'm wanting, we will be on top of this. It's very much something that's just broken in the news, and we've just not quite we haven't seen the case. So I think we want to get hold of the case and see what's actually happened there.
Apparently, it's one case amongst others.
Yes, it may be. I mean, there may have been others.
According to reports in the various newspapers.
Mm.
I was just being given a note here by my producer who says that statements have been made that just because there's no laid-down penalty means the judge must now use his own discretion.
Yeah, it is to do with the penalty sections, but I haven't read the judgment, so I can't comment at the moment.
We're all waiting with bated breath to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Fran, well, thank you very much for bringing that up. Thanks a lot. Good night to you. You tune to SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader. I'm Karen Key, and this is the Law Report. My guests tonight are attorneys Erica Emden and Keisha Kandasamy of probono.org. Erica is the Advancement Director and Development Law Specialist and Director of the Johannesburg office of probono.org, and Keisha is Head of General Law at probono.org. And we're running a legal clinic where we take your queries on any aspect of the law. Any questions you might have, you can call us on 0892 10 2010, 0892 10 2010. Keisha, general law, that covers pretty much almost anything.
Yes, it does. We currently have two departments. It's our Family and Refugee Law Department, which is obviously very specific. And then really anything that doesn't fall within that department falls within the General Law Department.
So pretty much everything else.
Yes.
How busy is probono.org, Erica? Is this something that's been taken up well by the public?
Yes, and in fact it's been very remarkable to see the sort of growth over the last 6 years. In the first year, which we operated, we saw about 160 clients, whereas in 2011 we saw over 3,500. So
heavens.
The amount of coverage in terms of numbers of people has grown enormously. I think it's because we've got known, and we were just an unknown new little NGO on the block 2006, and no one really wanted to have much to do with us and send us clients, and they didn't know what would happen if they did. But now we get so many referrals from other legal NGOs. We get people from the public who hear about us, and then a lot of the NGOs that we work with refer their clients to us. So we're really never short of clients. I mean, at the moment, and what's interesting is that as we get more and more clients and recruit more and more lawyers, the balance sort of remains intact. So that's the balance we have to always keep, that we need to have enough lawyers for our clients, and we need to have enough clients for our lawyers. So, we constantly work with both groups.
I think people know or have known for many years about legal aid and the clinics at the different universities around the country. How different is pro bono? Pro bono is pro bono. It's free. Legal aid, it's pretty much the same sort of thing?
Well, you see, what is similar about us and legal aid, what is similar about us and the legal clinics at the universities, let's talk about those first, is that like the legal clinics at the universities, we offer a pro bono service. We offer access to justice for poor people. But unlike the university law clinics, our service is given by the private legal sector, whereas their service is given by their own staff and students under supervision. So they actually provide the full-on service there at their clinics, whereas we don't provide the service at our office. We refer all the cases and all the matters through to private sector attorneys who deal with them. So we're not actual service providers as such.
You facilitators more than anything else. Okay.
but yet we are lawyers, because a lot of our work involves assessing the merits of cases that we have to refer through to lawyers, and preparing briefs for lawyers where we describe the kind of matters that have to be, the legal issues that have to be dealt with. So to some extent, we package the cases for the lawyers, but we don't actually do them ourselves. And in a sense, that's why we have such a huge capacity, because our role is short and quick with cases, because we get them offshore into the lawyers' offices, and then we can get more cases. So it gives us more capacity to work on getting and spreading access to justice. We don't have to end up spending weeks and weeks on one case ourselves. So it's quite an interesting model. So that's how we differ from the law clinics. And then, of course, we differ from Legal Aid South Africa in that we focus on civil matters, whereas Legal Aid South Africa focuses on criminal matters. And only about 7%, they only have the capacity to do about 7% civil. So we have a cooperation agreement with them, and we cross-refer. So if we get criminal matters, we refer them back to Legal Aid South Africa. And if they have too many civil matters, they refer them across to us. So there's a kind of good division of labour there. So the overlap between other legal NGOs is is not problematic. In fact, we work cooperatively now with most of the other providers, like the Legal Resources Centre, Lawyers for Human Rights, South African Law Commission, the university clinics, and LASA. We work pretty cooperatively with all of them, with our different capacities. You see, our capacity is the private legal sector, and often, that's required in certain kinds of instances. Whereas, there are also sections 27 and a couple of others very specialized NGOs that we also refer cases to. So if a legal NGO is very specialized and has a certain set of skills, we would send a case to them. And if they have a case where they require something that we can offer, they'll refer a case back to us.
Okay, we have Florence in Durban. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Karen.
Hello, how can we help you tonight?
Look, I just want some information in Durban, if they know of anybody who specializes in life rights contracts.
Keisha?
Life rights contracts.
Okay.
I think somebody at our Durban office could probably assist. I think I'll just pass it over to Erica just to give you the address. But also, you can also email Odette, who is the director of our Durban office. That's ODETTE.
Just a minute.
Sorry?
I want my pen's fallen on the floor.
Okay, have you found it, Florence?
Yeah.
You've got it, okay.
Okay, so Odette, who's the director of our Durban office, it's ODETTE at
OEETTE.
ODE.
Odette.
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
At probono.org.za.
Odette. And that Durban address?
Oh, let me just give you the phone number, Florence. The phone number is 031
031
301
301
61 78.
It doesn't have to be pro bono. I'm prepared to pay, but it's got to be somebody who knows what they're talking about. Because I live in a retirement home, and all of a sudden they're shifting all the goalposts, and they're making our life a misery.
Okay, well, give Odette a call in the morning, Florence, and see maybe she can pass you on to somebody that can help you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for getting through. It's a pleasure.
A wonderful program.
Thank you, Florence. Good night to you. We have Soyasile in Cape Town. Soyasile, sounds like a terrible story. Tell us what happened.
Thank you for taking my call, ma'am.
Pleasure. What happened?
On December, I was at Eastern Cape, at Butterworth. I was driving my car, and then I tried to park. I tried to find a parking and on the main road. But while I was waiting for other car to come out of the parking, and then I can pull my car in, my phone ring, and then I pick up my phone. But unfortunately, another traffic cop he was watching me, and then he came to me, say, I'm driving while I'm driving. I'm speaking on the phone while I'm driving, and then he asked my driver's license he says he's gonna write me a ticket fine, and then I refused to give him my driver's license. I told him that I was speaking on the phone that while I was waiting for the car to come out, and then I can park. And then and then he called other traffic cops, and then they take me to police station. While they get me there, and then they hit me, and then they put me in handcuffs, and then they hit me. And then I asked them, why did they hit me? And then they're gonna take me to court, and the second day, and the following day, and then they hit me in the whole day there. And then other police guy, my old man, he came, and then he told them, no, if you're gonna do this in the police station, we have to take this man out here, otherwise he can open a case against you. And then they take me to the cell, and then they on the following day I appear at court, and then they charge me 700 rands for taking for. They say I refuse to pay to obey the rules, and then I had to pay that 700 rand, and then I told them that I want to open the case, and then they tell me if I'm going to open a case, they're going to take me to the cell again, because they have to. It has to be an investigation for that. So while the investigation is going on, they must keep me there. And then I didn't open my case because I was scared to keep it in the cell. So if there's anybody can help me there.
Erica, Keisha?
Did he say he was in Cape? Did you
No,
say
he's from Cape Town, but this happened when he was in Butterworth.
Butterworth?
In the Eastern Cape.
Butterworth in December, yes.
In December.
Yeah, in December.
And his injuries from when he was being...
Yes, on the handcuffs they put in my hand. They still have the marks on my hand.
So you said they beat you as well?
Yes, they beat me as well, yes.
And do you know who they are? Do you have the names of those police officers?
No, they didn't have a tag names on their uniform. But I still remember the guys that do that.
Because what is available to you is that in all areas in South Africa, you'll either get an office, it's called the Independent Complaints Directorate, and that's basically where you can go to complain about police conduct. So if you feel that you've been treated badly by police, or they haven't sort of conducted your case in the way they should have, you can lodge a complaint with them, the ICD, and the ICD should then investigate the matter. Regarding a civil claim, so say for example, if you incurred any medical costs as a result of your injuries, and any other sort of civil claim relating to the unlawful arrest, you can try to find an attorney who may be able to assist you on a contingency fee basis, which is basically an attorney who will do the work for you, and their fee will then be an agreed upon percentage of the total amount that they're able to get for you, through the matters, through litigation or otherwise. And what you can do is possibly phone the Cape Law Society. They're based in Cape Town, but they manage all the attorneys in the Eastern Cape as well as the Western Cape, and try and get the contact details of attorneys who work on a contingency fee basis.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
So contact the Cape Law Society, Soisile.
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
Good luck to you with that.
Bye.
Good night. Thanks for getting through. Keisha, just one thing I mentioned that you assess the cases. Now, what criteria do you look for when you are assessing which cases you will take on or pass on?
Okay, well, the first thing is obviously the means test. We have to ensure that the people who contact us for assistance qualify for pro bono legal assistance in terms of the Law Society's requirements. Once we've established that, we then actually look at the matter itself. We look at the facts of the matter, we look at the evidence, and we try to establish if there's merit to the matter, if it's a good legal case, and the prospects of success are good. Once we have all of that, so when we say we screen the matter, we also do a lot of the groundwork in terms of collecting the necessary documentary evidence and supporting documentation in order to assess the merits of the matter. And once we're satisfied with the merits of the matter, we'll then send it out to attorneys. There are those matters which are sometimes a bit complex and they deal with certain legal principles very specific to, for example, a very complex area of the law. What we'll then do is we'll send out those matters to our advocates, because we also work with advocates who also do pro bono work. advocates at the Johannesburg Bar have to do 20 hours of pro bono work per year. And what we do is we go to them when we need legal opinion. So we'll send them the matter, we'll send them the facts of the case, and we'll ask them to then give us an opinion. And if we get a favourable one, we'll then move to the next step of getting an attorney to take on the matter.
And as you mentioned earlier, you take civil cases, not criminal cases.
Not criminal. And when we say civil, we broadly take on matters defined as human rights and public interest work. And that's really the scope of the work that we do.
Well, you tune to SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader. I'm Karen Key, and this is the Law Report. My guests tonight are attorneys Erica Emden and Keisha Kandasamy of probono.org, and we're running a legal clinic where we're taking your queries on any aspect of the law. So if you have any questions, you can ring us now on 0892 10 2010, 0892 10 2010. Tabo in Pretoria, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello, how can we help you, Tabo?
I just have a question. I just want to ask if as to whether you can help me there.
Okay.
I bought the car in November last year from a car dealer. It was financed by the bank, and then since January this year, it has been giving me a lot of problems, And I'll have to repair this and that, and I'm continuing paying my installment. So when I took it for service, they said for checkup, they said it was involved in an accident before it can be sold to me. And then it became worse as time goes on. And then I took it back to the dealer. They took it for repair, and then at repair they want a lot of money to the amount of 30,000. They want me to pay that amount. I don't know what to do now. I'm so frustrated. I'm continuing paying the car. How can I pay that amount? I mean, I did not know that it was involved in an accident before. The dealer never told me anything like that, I just don't know what to do.
Erica,
is there maybe a guarantee on the part of the dealer,
Erica, is that something of not disclosing the problems, the fault with the car that was in obviously some sort of severe accident? I mean, what sort of comeback does he have on this?
Well, I think, again, he'd have to have an attorney to look at all the issues, because I imagine it depends on the contract and the kind of terms of the contract. Was the car sold what they call foot stewards, which means,
basically as is, yeah.
Or was there some clause in the contract, or is there some case law? This would need to be investigated. In cases like this, I'm not sure if there's some common law, case law to state a different situation, which might be that if it's a certain type of non-disclosure, it can't in fact be removed by a foot stewards clause. So it's kind of it's a pretty complicated legal question, and I would suggest we run a consumer law clinic at our office every Wednesday.
Now, Tabo is another one in Pretoria.
So if it's difficult to come through to us, it's run by Worksmans. We could probably suggest, as we did earlier, that you phone the Law Society of the Northern Provinces and get them to allocate a pro bono attorney for it if you qualify in terms of their means test, which is the same as ours.
Tabo, did you have the number for the Law Society of the Northern Provinces?
Because it's one of those questions where you really need to investigate the contract. You'd need the lawyer to also know something about the common law and whether there are exclusions to the foot stewards clause, such as prior accidents, etc. And I mean, I imagine that there could be, some way of getting out of this. Yeah, one obviously wants to get out of it and maybe just get one's money back.
Tabo?
In my case, there's no contract between myself that I signed between myself and the dealer. There's a contract between me and the bank that financed the motor vehicle.
You see, the bank probably funded it because it was a foot stewards clause that the bank was satisfied with.
Well, it might be worth your while, Tabo, to call the Law Society of the Northern Provinces. I gave out the number earlier. I will give it out again, and maybe give them a call and just see if they can't assist you and advise you and put you in touch with possibly a lawyer that can help you.
Can I have their number, please?
Okay, it's 012
012
338
yes
58
Yes.
00.
00.
That's the Law Society of the Northern Provinces. Give them a call in the morning and see if they can help you.
Okay, I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, Tabo. Thanks for getting through. Good night to you. Justine in Durban, good evening.
Yes, I'd like to I have a bit of an issue. I think it's more a human rights issue in regards to surname amendment through Home Affairs. What's happened now is my driver's license has expired, and because my surname hasn't been amended, I don't have any documentation from Home Affairs to prove this. And now I'm driving around with all my documentation that's in the wrong name, wrong ID number, wrong everything, and yet there's nothing I seem to be able to do to get this changed. You know, who do I see? You know, the means test I certainly qualify for. You know, so that's not an issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd just like to ask, how was the surname changed? Was
No,
it done?
the surname hasn't been amended yet. You see, that's the problem. My forename's been amended and my gender's been amended, but I don't have any the documentation to prove this. You know, everything's incorrect.
Okay.
You know, it's all wrong, yeah.
All right. So basically what you need to do is if you contact our Durban office, I think this is definitely something that they'll be able to try and find someone to assist you with. I think that the number was given a bit earlier.
I will. Have you got a pen, Justine?
I actually heard it earlier. I took it down earlier.
Oh, the Durban
I
office.
was wondering if this was your sort of case. Because,
Yes.
You know, I've been trying to get hold of everybody for over a year to get this thing sorted before my driver's license expired. But now that I'm driving on, driver's license and a name and ID number that's not mine officially, you know what I mean? You know, and I'm petrified of being stopped.
Yes, I think it's definitely something that our Durban office will be able to assist you with.
Whereabouts in Durban are you exactly? So I can maybe go down there tomorrow.
It's in the centre of town.
In the centre of town, okay.
I'm not, the street. Have you got the street address with you, Karen?
I don't actually. I've got the phone number, and that's as far as I've got. Unfortunately,
I'll look it up. I mean, I didn't bring it up. I didn't bring it.
But Justine, if you give them a call, they'll be able to tell you exactly where they are. Maybe just give them a call. You've got the number. Give them a call in the morning
tomorrow,
and just ask them exactly where their offices are, and you can pop down there. But as Keisha and Erica have said, this is definitely something that they can help you with. So to give them a call, and hopefully they can resolve your problem for you. I think it is quite nerve-wracking, you know, especially with all the roadblocks they've got these days. You know, absolutely,
it's a terrible situation. Yeah.
Absolutely, gosh, no, you need to get that sorted out as soon as possible. So give them a call in the morning, and hopefully they can help you.
Okay, thank you very much, Karen. Thank you.
Pleasure, Justine. Good night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Another call in Durban. Fazile, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine as well, man. I'm happy to hear that you've got offices in Durban, man, because actually in 2008, man, I relocated a little bit from Uppington to Durban, but I was still busy building there a house. Now, what actually happened is that one of the inspector police with his friend came and buy my roof, actually, from the builders whom I hired, you see. And the case was actually lodged. I lodged the case that my whole roof was stolen. And the car that they saw was a car of the inspector police. I don't know if I'm still on the right topic that you have.
Okay.
Are you alleging a theft of your roof material?
My whole roof was actually stolen, that's right, yeah. My neighbor told me that he recognizes the car. It was one of the inspector police. I went to lodge a complaint at the police station. I went to the inspector's offices, and they said now the builders were gone by then. They said, no, it's my case against the builder's case, because they said I was selling the roof. But the inspector police told me that no, he know where my roof is, but he never took me there, you see. So he delayed the process until the zincs were removed. I went to lodge a complaint at the ICDL because I think that if he knew where the roof is and he knew that they were stolen from my house, he should have actually done something. But I never heard nothing. I lodged a complaint with the ICD, and from that time, I never heard nothing. They told me that they are going to come back to me until today. They never came back to me.
But Erica, this sounds like a criminal matter, not a civil matter. This isn't something that Pro Bono deals with.
it isn't, but one place I would definitely think he should try and phone, just because it won't necessarily assist, but it may be able to assist indirectly, is Corruption Watch.
Okay.
Maybe we can try and get their phone number for him. I don't have it with me. It's a new organisation that's been set up to look at this kind of case. I mean, I'm not quite following the story. It sounds to me as though there was a building situation and the roof got stolen, and his allegation is that it was stolen by the police.
Well, no, the building inspector. It sounds like the builder sold it to the inspector.
The building for me sold it to one of...
Okay, so not corruption. Actually, I thought you said the police.
No.
The building inspector. And then he knows... You know who it was.
That I hired. I wasn't there the time they were building, but I asked them to put on my roof. Now, a police inspector came with his vehicle, with his friend, to come and remove. But I reported it immediately that was theft, because I'm not selling. I didn't sell my house. I told nobody to remove my my roof.
Fazile, was it a policeman or was it the building inspector?
Who stole the
roof?
The police car. The police inspector came with his car to load the zinc.
Okay.
But immediately after that, we informed them that they removed my property without consent.
Did you lay a charge of theft?
I did. There was a case number. I went to the ICD. Nothing happened to that case.
Okay, Fazile.
I would contact Corruption.
Yeah, Fazile, if you leave your email address with my producer, I will email you some contact details for Corruption Watch, and you can get in touch with them, and hopefully they'll be able to help you.
And I suppose just before you go, I mean, the one other thing that's sort of going through my head is what does happen. You know, it's something that I don't know off the top of my head, but it's something that we could possibly look into when the ICD doesn't do anything. You know, I mean, is there a higher level that one can go to, and which branch was it? You know, maybe one can...
I laid a complaint in Uppington branch.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have... I did have their direct number, but they shifted office, so I have to phone the Kimberley branch.
You see, I would go to our Durban office possibly over this, phone the Durban office, because maybe they can just at least try and track what happened to that complaint.
What happened to that complaint? Because nothing happened from it. Nothing.
And there is possibly some way of trying to track the complaint and seeing where it is in the system and pushing that a bit. Yeah. Since a complaint has been made and it is all documented.
I did. I had a case number from both the police station as well as the ICD where I laid the complaint, but they shifted offices.
I would go to our Durban office. Okay. I would suggest you phone our Durban office and see if you can make an appointment there. If you're in Durban, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I am in Durban. I can.
All right. Fazile, in any event, I will send you some information on Corruption Watch, and I'll give you the telephone number as well. Okay. All right, Fazile. Thanks very much. Next call on the line from Johannesburg. We're coming up to the end of the show now. Tebogo, good evening.
Good evening.
How can we help you?
Well, I was arrested in 1999 for the crime that I was not involved in. So the policeman was involved with my girlfriend. So the only way to remove me was to put me in the case of robbery whereby I was not even there. There was no identity parade. There was nothing that was found in my presence to link me to the crime that he was claiming that I have committed.
So basically it was wrongful arrest?
Yes.
Okay. Would this be a criminal matter as well, Erica, Keisha?
Yeah.
Well, what happened subsequently with the matter? Did he go to court? Was he acquitted?
Yes, I went to court, and then the people that I was arrested with, they told the court that they don't know me. And then I was convicted and sentenced. After that, I launched an appeal. The appeal did not go through. I wrote to the Minister of Justice. He contacted the court in Klerksdorp where I was arrested, and nothing was done. And I contacted him again, and then the Chief Magistrate was given the authority to see to it that I'm assisted. But all of a sudden, my court records got missing, and then they were claiming that the court records are missing or they've been destroyed based on the rules and regulations of the court.
Sorry, I need to ask a question. Are you saying you served a sentence?
I served a sentence, and in 2010, I was exonerated with an appeal.
Ah, I see. So on the appeal, you won the appeal.
I won the appeal for both the conviction and the sentence.
So what is your question, whether you have a damages claim?
I beg your pardon?
I'm not quite sure what your question is then.
Well, my question is, I've been trying to sue the state for unlawful arrest for being in prison for almost 9 years for the crime that I was not involved in.
Okay, if you feel that you've got merit in terms of a damages claim for wrongful arrest, I think the best would be for you to try and find an attorney who would assist you on a contingency fee basis. And like I explained earlier, what that means is that an attorney will assist you, and their fee will be an agreed upon percentage of the total amount that they're able to successfully get for you through litigation or otherwise. And so therefore you don't have to put up money right at the front. That fee is paid at the end of the matter, once they've done the matter and they're successful with it. What you can do is, if you phone the Law Society of the Northern Provinces and ask them for the contact details of attorneys who work on a contingency fee basis, they should give you about 3 or 4 contact details, and you can then phone each of those attorneys, explain your matter to them, and if it's something they can assist you with, they will then have a meeting with you, and you will then agree on that percentage. In terms currently of the Law Society's rules, ethical rules, that maximum amount that contingency fee agreement can be for is 25% of your total claim. That's currently how, as it stands. I know there is discussion that should change, but I think that would be your best way to go.
All right. No, thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, my pleasure.
Thanks, Teboho. Good luck to you with that. Right, so we haven't got too much time left. So just in closing, Erica and Keisha, what final words do you have for our listeners there?
Well, while we've been sitting here, I've just looked up this case of the sexual offences.
Right,
Act.
okay.
Briefly, I just saw what it involved. It was a situation where there are various situations in that Act where there aren't any penalties set out. So they've had to... basically, they're going to have to relook at the Act and put penalties in. So it's obviously something about legislative drafting that wasn't done properly. So I don't think it really affects the actual essence or the basis of the Sexual Offences Act.
Oh, right, okay.
I think it's a technicality that's got to be sorted out. It's going to be sorted out urgently, it says. The Minister's going to do this very urgently.
Well, that's good to know. Well, I'm just going to warn those listening now, if you want some contact details, to get your pen and paper out now, and we'll give out some contact numbers. And first of all, one we seem to be giving out quite a lot this evening is a contact number for the Law Society of the Northern Provinces, and that number is 012-338 5800. The office number for probono.org in Johannesburg is 011 339 6080, 011 339 6080, and the Durban office number is 031 301 6178, 031 301 6178. And Erica, people have a problem, they just have to either call or go onto the website or just probono.org.za and just be in contact with you, and then you would assess, or somebody there would assess their case to see whether you could actually take the case?
Yes, we usually, between us, Kesha looks at the general law cases, and if it's a family law or a refugee matter, Sharon looks at them. And we try and advise people, if they email us, and otherwise they phone and try and come in and see us.
And the clinics that you run, it was all different days of the week that you were talking about. Would all that information be on your website as well, or would people get that if they called in?
They can call in, and it's on our website.
Okay, so there's a lot of information out there, and it's all pretty much on the website. They'll be able to find that contact details when your clinic are the kinds of clinics that you run and where they're going to be running.
Yes.
And hopefully in the not too distant future you'll be expanding into the rest of the country.
We hope so, especially Cape Town.
Well, yes, plus there's so many other places. I'm sure they're all sitting there dying to know when you're coming. So, but you, as you say, if they're phoning from outside of your area, of the area where you're working at the moment, you would possibly be able to direct them somewhere.
We do try.
Okay, well then it's not all doom and gloom then. Well, my thanks once again this evening to attorneys Erica Emden and Keisha Kandasamy of probono.org. Erica is the Advancement Director and Development Law Specialist and Director of the Johannesburg office of probono.org. And Keisha Kandasamy is Head of General Law at probono.org. Keisha and Erica, thank you very much indeed for joining me this evening.
Pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
And they've been my guests on tonight's edition of the Law Report program. If you'd like to contact them, take a look at the website www.probono.org.za. And on the show next week, being the last Monday of the month, the focus is once again on property law. That's next Monday, the 28th of May. I'm Karen Key. Thanks for joining me this evening. And Stephen Kirk is up next with some nighttime music. 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 Up next with some nighttime music.